So, spoiler alert, it's the 11th juror. Has it aired yet? Do we know?
Anyway, Rizzo, you become the final member of our jury. Take a spot over here.
Here I am. Yeah, no, that was a very fun moment. I will say at the moment, it stung a little bit,
What just happened?
They didn't show the fire.
Fire hasn't happened yet.
but after reflection, it's the funniest thing ever. Add it to the RizGod resume. Uh, but yeah, man, it was something.
Live TV, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go. So, no one's giving me fun like after party, after finale stories. What crazy antics did you guys get up to after this all wrapped?
So Charlie's my guy. I love Charlie. We've obviously had the iconic rivalry of season 50. And a lot of the fan base online, whether it's Reddit or Twitter, was doing like heated rivalry edits for Charlie and I. So we made a TikTok last night and it's kind of banging right now. I think the fans are loving the TikTok content. I made a TikTok with Colby, which was really great. So in terms of after party shenanigans, it was making content with my fellow castmates.
All right, check out the TikTok. I'll have to peep that later on when we get
Yep.
off. You know, we spoke a bit last night about you holding on to your idol so long
Yeah.
twice in a row, but why do you think people wouldn't let Aubrey do the same? Why was that such a problem for her, but not for you?
Yeah, I think what Aubrey had the biggest issue was telling people she was going to play it, and then when she says she wasn't, she says, "I forgot." It's like, come on, guys. Like we're all returning players, we're all veterans at this thing. But also, I feel like for me, in Aubrey's case, is at that point of the game, Aubrey wasn't as well connected. She was kind of on the bottom of the totem pole, where I had a lot of allies like Cerie's Wizard of Oz. I was aligned with Coach and the Honor and Integrity people. I was aligned with Joe and Jonathan. I was pretty more well insulated. And so was Ozzy. That's why Ozzy never got pressed to play his idol because me, Cirie, and Ozzy were the nucleus of the merge until obviously I end up turning on Ozzy. But it's not that we weren't threats or not respected. It's just Ozzy and I knew where all the votes were going.
Now, you mentioned the honor and integrity crew of the bunch. You know, coming from the new era and you're a student of the game, was that frustrating at all to play with?
So for me personally, it was not. I had a great relationship with Coach. And honestly, if it wasn't for the duos twist, there is a world where I probably work with Coach longer. It was just the fact that Chrissy, threw my name out there and I had no working relationship with Chrissy. And I had a lot of great working relationships with other people. So I was willing to cut Coach. I actually was very closely aligned with Joe. Joe was probably my final two out there. So I didn't mind it. I personally, as someone that likes to play a fluid game, I like honor and integrity because at least I know where people are voting. I'm not the honor integrity person in that situation. So it was easy to see where the dominoes were falling. I just knew how to blend in with that group of people. So I personally didn't mind it.
Now I want to play a little hypothetical. You know, let's say you had tipped Ozzy off about playing his idol. How do you think things would have shaken out for you and Suri?
Yeah, if Ozzy did play his idol, I do think that Cirie or Ozzy, one of them will make the end. Hence why I was so willing to cut them because at that vote, I aligned with Joe and Jonathan as my final three because I felt like they were the two best guys that I had the best shot at winning. And ultimately, I actually did really well rebuilding rapport with Cirie. I told her the truth, and Cirie completely understood that I wasn't willing to throw away my game and her game at that point as well because Ozzy kind of laid out the plan. But I think had Ozzy played his idol, I would have had to make a big move and actually flip on them at 7. And I think my target level would have been through the roof because Cirie at that point would know I was against her, at least because that final 6, Cirie might have had a feeling I was possibly voting her out, but she didn't know for certain. Flipping on Ozzy at 7 would have let Cirie know at 6 that I was against her. So I think not telling Ozzy to play the idol was the right move for me.
Tell me about your one best move of the game and your one worst.
I've been getting a lot of flack for it, but I genuinely do believe me pivoting from Cerie's Wizard of Oz to the final 3 that I had with Joe and Jonathan was the best move for me because I've notoriously said this on 50 and on 49. I didn't come for second or for fourth. They're all the same to me. I came to win. So I needed to sit at the end with people that I had the best winning equity with, but Aubrey winning immunity kind of messed that up. I think objectively what I didn't do right was take into consideration how much the old school people really cared about work ethic. Coming from 49, we voted somebody out every single day. Back in the day, they had 3 days between rounds, so they had nothing but time. So obviously, they're going to be workhorses out there because they're just playing house. They're surviving for comfort. The new era, I slept in a boat. I could give a rat's ass where I was sleeping. But these people cared about that, and I didn't really think that was a factor in the game. I mean, I came into Ponderosa with certain juror members telling me if I made the final three, their question was going to be, why should I vote for somebody that didn't work around camp? To me, for the 50th season of Survivor, that is an abysmal take, but that's a take that some people cared about. So I think that's probably the lack of awareness for how much people valued that.
Yeah, it's almost like them not just kind of recognizing where the game has evolved to, especially with the number change in days, right?
Yeah.
Hit me with a couple names of new era players that you'd like to see come back and play.
Oof, that's a great one. I can list a good amount. Sophie Bellarity from Survivor 49. That's my ride or die. I hope she comes back. Sam Phelan from 47. Marianne is a great winner to come back. Andy's my guy. I'd love Andy to come back. Rachel from 47. Honestly, a lot of the 47 peeps, I would love to see Q come back. I love Q so much. 45. Who from 45 deserves a shout? Jake O'Kane. Caleb, honestly, a lot of people. Those are some of the few that come to the top of my head.
We definitely lost Q too early this season.
We did.
That's rough. Well, man, you played such a good game. Any final words about your Survivor 50 experience and playing with all these legends?
I said it, I think, very beautifully in my final words. I came into this game as a fan amongst legends, and I leave a giant amongst giants. I am so pleased and honored. 49, I had a better game experience, but 50, I feel like I played the better game. So overall, to know that I am one of 4 Survivor players ever to play 2 or more seasons and never be voted out is the badge of honor I wear. Nobody can say they ever voted me out as Survivor, at least yet. So that's what I take away from all this.